You've given me the permission. Oh, okay. Okay. Hello. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so happy you guys decided to try mediation. I think it could be really helpful in resolving your current conflict. My name is Maddie, and I will be the mediator today. I have experience mediating in all sorts of conflicts, so I feel confident in my ability to hopefully lead you both to a resolution today. First, I just want to disclose that I am just here to guide you to a solution to help facilitate conversation and hope walk you through the process. However, this is 100% your guys' conversation, your discussion, and your decision making. The goal of this mediation is to hopefully find a solution that works for the both of you and that you both are equally happy and comfortable with. I am going to remain neutral throughout this, and I hope that we can genuinely find a solution that both of you feel very happy and comfortable with. This process is going to start with making sure that everyone has agreed to the same principles and we are on the same page about this process. We will sign an agreement to mediate, and then we can kind of dig into the issue, see if we can come up with some options, and then hopefully find a solution. If necessary, we have the option of doing a caucus during this if we feel as if there's information you guys need to share with me without the other knowing. This is always an option, and I will try my best to be equal with both of you, both in time and effort wise. Additionally, during these caucuses, any information you share with me will remain confidential unless you disclose that it's okay for me to share anything. Um, Additionally, on that note of confidentiality, everything that happens, my notes, our discussions, and any agreements made until the final agreement will be confidential. I do have some exceptions to this rule if there's any sort of abuse going on or any sort of discussions of violence towards animals, kids, or kind of anything. I will have to disclose that. But besides that, everything will be confidential. So nothing any of us say can be used in a court of law. However, of course, if we get to that end agreement, then that'll be a written piece of paper, and that will be kind of what you can walk away from with this. Additionally, this is a voluntary process. If at any point from the beginning to even right before the very end you want to stop or quit, feel free to walk away. I am not requiring you to be here, and nor is anyone else. So I want this to be a safe space where you feel comfortable and as if you are happy to be there and volunteering to be here. Next, we'll sign the agreement to mediate, which just details everything I have gone over. Okay, we've signed it. Do you have any questions before we begin or about the agreement? Anything?
No. No.
Okay, wonderful. First, if you guys wouldn't mind, just whoever wants to go first, tell me a little bit about why you feel you're here today and what's been going on.
I can start. My name's Parker, by the way. So I'm just here because I'm frustrated. I was walking to class and we bumped into each other and I got injured because of it. And it was more than just an injury. It's affected me financially and also emotionally and physically. I had a scar, which I was really embarrassed to have. It didn't look good on my face. I also had to, I was falling behind in classes because of it. Um, and the costs of everything are just way too much for me to handle. It's around $1,400 since I don't have insurance, which is just as a college kid insane. I don't have that type of money lying around that I can just pay for that on a whim. And also because the scar really upsets me and I don't feel very comfortable or confident in myself, there's the option of plastic surgery, which never in a million years would insurance ever cover that. So that's another, we're looking like $1,000. So this all is just really difficult at this time. I am sort of just looking for my costs to be covered and just some help through this entire thing because it's affected me in many different ways.
For sure, I'm sorry. That sounds like it's been very difficult. I'm hearing that you're struggling with the overall impacts of this injury, both financially, emotionally, and academically, and you're just hoping to find a solution to some of those impacts.
Yeah.
Angel, would you mind sharing what brought you here today and your role in this?
Yeah. So
obviously like we ran into each other and it was like like the week before finals. And so like because of it like I had to get like stitches like on the side of my head. Um and like because of that like I had to like reschedule my final and then I kind of like bombed it because of that. So it's also been affecting my grades. And I've also been really embarrassed about like the scar and having like my head shaved and stuff. I like missed my friend's wedding because of it. And it's just been, yeah, pretty much a lot of the same things. I also don't have insurance and I also have a lot of costs from it that I'd like to also be covered. Um yeah. I will also say like I'm pretty upset about the whole situation and I want like if we can resolve it here in mediation, that would be great, but also like if we can't, I'm fully prepared to like take this to court, you know? So,
For sure.
just a warning.
Good to hear that. I'm hearing that you're also struggling with really similar things. Academic impacts has obviously impacted both of you, and just the overall emotional toll that can come with an injury, both socially, obviously, with missing that wedding. So I definitely hear both of you and think that there are definitely some common subjects which we should discuss that I think categorize of both of your kind of experiences. First, it seems we need to discuss costs. Obviously, this had a financial impact on both of you. Similarly, with both not having insurance, I think that's something that we need to discuss. And also seems to be a position you're both holding. So we can talk about some of those interests underlying there and seeing if we can kind of come up with something with the financial aspect of this. Additionally, academics seem to be have something that has impacted both you. And lastly, the emotional impacts. Um, so, if we want to move into our first session of costs, obviously, both of you have medical bills that you're wanting the other to cover. And it can be difficult if you could recognize that both of you have struggled, obviously, with very similar things. So, if we're taking the first and most obvious solution of each of you expecting the other to pay for their medical costs, what are some other options we can come up with for this financial burden?
I mean, like we pretty much have like the same amount. Like my medical costs are very similar. It's around 1400. Um, but I also think that like I wasn't at fault
For
in
sure.
kind of the whole accident. Like I was going to class, but also like I've talked to my lawyer and he said that like because I was like walking on like the right side of the path and you weren't, that like I don't know. I feel like I shouldn't have to pay anything. I feel like you should have to pay everything, Parker, just because like
Um,
I didn't do anything. So, I got I disagree. Um, I think I was just walking and I've also talked to my lawyer and he thinks that I have about a 70% chance of winning in court. So I'm not like afraid to take it to court either. I was just walking to my test and don't think that I was in the wrong at all. Um, and so I don't really know what like I feel as though this is going to be settled and resolved from just based off who's going to pay what, which in my case, I'm not afraid, like I said, to go to court because I have such a high percentage what my lawyer expects of winning. But so I don't know what else would make me really feel whole again besides this cost amount.
So I'm hearing that both of you agree with the option of taking this situation to court, right? So that is going to be our first option for solving this financial issue that we're seeing between the two of you. However, before we try to evaluate our options, what could be of anything like imagine that money necessarily like, well, money definitely is an issue in here. Um, if you were the other person, or if we were a third party, or if you're trying to be really creative, what are some maybe other reasons this could have happened? Is there other methods we could pursue to feel as if we could get reimbursed from this besides just each other paying? Um, Potentially, there could be actions towards creating specific sides of the hall to walk on to make sure future people don't go through this issue. Maybe a GoFundMe could be coming out of this. We could maybe start a whole movement. None of these have to be exactly what we agree on today, but I encourage us to try to find a couple feasible options, even if we do end up going with lawyers, just to kind of widen the opportunity and try to get a little bit creative in some of the solutions here. Because ultimately, if we try to see the similarities you have, you're in a very similar position. I think it's clear to me that neither of you intended nor wanted to run into each other in the hallway. It has caused some damage in both of your lives that you probably could relate to each other with socially, academically, and just the challenge of going through a difficult injury. So, are there any maybe more collaborative options that we could come to hopefully try and see? Like, potentially, have we talked to maybe the school, seeing if they could potentially take some ownership in the actions? Are there any ideas kind of that spark of thought or a thought of thought process? And if not, I mean, going to your lawyers is definitely an option.
Well, I agree that we have a very, very similar situation. So, and it's not as if we both intended to walk right into each other, as you said. Um, it's less that I resent you or like are angry at you. It's more angry at the situation and the outcome of the situation. So I feel as though maybe there are other options where we could ask the school. I mean, the hallways are very narrow, and I was like, it's right before finals. I was looking down at my paper, clearly not may not have been paying attention very well, and so maybe there could be some action where we go to the school. Um, but I'm open to collaborate and think of other alternatives.
Yeah, I agree. I think I may have been a little like forward, I guess, and like assuming that like, this is 100% your fault. Like obviously, I don't think you intended it, I didn't intend it. It has affected both of us. And I see now that like I relate to a lot of the same experiences of like embarrassment and being stressed about school and my future. Um, yeah, I think honestly, like if we I'm open to like trying to find the money for both of us, like together somehow. Like maybe we could do like the GoFundMe sounded like a good idea. Or maybe even, yeah, like talking to the school. Like maybe it doesn't have to be us fighting each other. Like maybe we can fight the school kind of together. Like I wonder if there's been like other instances of this happening in like the same hallway or something like that. Like if you know, the corner is like particularly like a blind spot or something like that. So maybe we could
Agreed.
like do some more research into like past experiences of this happening in that same area and like seeing if like we're not the only ones who've been struggling from this.
Totally. So that is definitely another option. And I think that that option could also bleed into the areas of struggle academically and the emotional impacts. There is a potential with some research I have done for you to appeal the bad grades due to your situation. And maybe it could be supportive in both of you to kind of mitigate the pains, though the financial burden is a difficult one to work around because obviously money can be somewhat black and white. I think in these other areas of impact, though they haven't been as tangible as money as, it is clear to me that you both have expressed they have been stressful and equally as impactful in your life, both in academics and the emotional and social impacts. So some options there that we could think of. Do you guys have any ideas of kind of what could happen? Maybe a support group, or maybe you guys could, like you said, it could work in your favor even financially with this appeal to maybe start a movement on campus or sorts. Do you have any ideas for those issues?
I think having I mean, we go to a large university, so I'm sure there are other students who have similar experiences. I mean, there are many bikes, scooters, skateboards all around school. I'm sure someone's ran into someone else in that sense, in that way. So I bet that there are enough people that we could collect and create a group because clearly the both of us have been harmed more than just physical harm, but also emotionally, mentally, financially. So I bet that people in similar situations have the same trauma and like other factors that have been disrupted. So yeah, I think that creating a group at school could be nice, being able to talk and collaborate in that sense. I also like the idea of going to the school and classes and teachers and being able to try to like get a redo at like our final grades or assignments because that was very difficult and upsetting watching my grade and GPA go down just because of something that I couldn't even control. Um, so I think talking in the university would solve and relieve that pain academically, and just take like less weight off our chest by like having a sliver of the damage resolved.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with a lot of those things. I think also too, like, I wonder if we could, like, in finding other people who have like experienced similar things, if maybe like we could almost start like like a charity kind of around the campus or something like that, where it's like that's the way people can donate to help like college kids who have like suffering from accidents on campus. It doesn't even necessarily have to be as specific as like what happened to us, but like other situations like that. And that can help like the financial and also like the support group aspect of it, you know, like people almost like just like to spread awareness around it too, about like maybe like slowing down around campus and like always like looking both ways before like crossing like areas and things like that. And like we can, I don't know, maybe start that kind of going as almost like, I don't know, kind of like a club, I guess. Like I don't know how formal we'll be able to like create it, but we can definitely like do that, like you were saying, as like a movement sort of to like bring awareness and then maybe even like bring in like donations to like help resolve a lot of like that money, or maybe even like the school is willing to give us funding if we're like spreading awareness around about like campus safety and things like that. And so I feel like that is definitely like a solution. And I also agree that like the appeals will definitely help, like I know me at least, like feel better about my grades and things and be able to, yeah, be less stressed about that, like impacting my future and stuff.
For sure. Awesome. It sounds like we have lots of good ideas. So if we just want to circle back and come up with a final conclusion that you both feel best with, because I think we have lots of potential here with some of these ideas we've generated. Working on the financial, it sounds like maybe the first thing would be agreeing to not sue each other as a first, to then turn a little bit of a new leaf to collaborate and maybe trying to source this financial from elsewhere. So whether that is from the university or GoFundMe, does that sound like the agreement you guys have come to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if that does not work, if you guys try to go to university and they say no, and you do not have success with the GoFundMe, where do you think we would go from there?
Um, I guess like at that point, like if we really can't like get anything from the GoFundMe or any other like donation options, we just kind of have to like deal with it. Like probably, I mean, I personally would probably have to like go into like a little bit of like credit card debt, I guess, but I probably wouldn't resort to like suing just because I know that like for like Parker, like he doesn't really have any money to be giving me anyway, I guess. So like there's not really a point in like trying to get more. Because also like there's a lot more costs with like the legal fees and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I think if we can't get anything from the school, um, it would probably just be better to pay it on your own. Like I said, my lawyer said that I did have a higher percent chance in court, but it's never 100. And honestly, I already have a lot of expenses on my own, so I'd rather not take the risk of paying all the lawyer fees and going to court just for not a great outcome.
For sure. Okay, so we're gonna agree that you two will first try to pursue funding from these other routes, and if not, you will agree to not sue each other now, nor if this were to fail, and to just cover the costs on your own.
Yes.
And then, second, to address those emotional and academic impacts, you guys are going to discuss maybe appealing your current grades or asking for an opportunity to maybe break up those midterms through the school or potentially appeal the grade to just be a pass no pass situation. And then also have the opportunity potentially to collaborate to create a charity or club on campus to maybe create a bit more community for both yourselves and potentially others who have been in a similar situation.
Yep.
Um,
Awesome. So I will write up our agreement and then we can both sign it if you guys feel comfortable. Do you have any remaining questions?
No, I think
oh,
that we're all set.
yeah.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Maddie.